everything can here, Danyasa. Just take time. Take patience.
Oh, God, I'm sorry, Mr. Miyagi. When I started out, I never meant for it to end up the way it did.
Sometime when take trip, better know where trip end. Otherwise, better just stay home. Oi.
Hey. Hey, it's budding. Hey, look at that. It's gonna make it, huh?
Hey. Make it because have strong root. Just like you, Daniel-san. Inside you have strong root. No need nothing except what inside you to grow. Understand?
Yeah, I do understand.
All right, Shalawam, Israel. I'd like to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahawah, Bahashem, YAHAWASHI, double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone, and Shalawam to Lek out there doing this work of faith and labor of love, true sincerity. All right, pretty much from the clip in which brother seen, which was from Karate Kid 3, and in that scene you see where, Mr. Miyagi, he was bringing Daniel's son, over to the bonsai tree to show him that bonsai tree that was broken was actually mended back together, and what he told him is that, the tree made it because it's strong, it has strong roots, and he said, just like you, Daniel, son, he said, all you had to do was find it within inside yourself, and that's important for us to know within this truth, is that this truth is already in us, and we know that. From the book of Romans 15:4, the things that were written aforetime were written for our learning, and how, the apostles, they was getting to the word educate, which means to draw out or to draw forth, So everything that was rooted in us from the past, YAHAWASHI, is bringing that forth out in us within these present times, man. That we could be thoroughly rooted and thoroughly planted, in this truth for the said perils that are to come, and that we can be the men that will stand, Lord willing, that will stand so stiffly for the name of YAHAWASHI. Okay? So, with that, I want to get into this first precept. This is Colossians 2:5. For though I be absent in the flesh, yet am I with you in the spirit, joining and beholding your order and the steadfastness of your faith in Yahawashi. As ye have therefore received Yahawashi the Lord, so walk ye in him. And when we came into this truth, we received Yahawashi by faith. So what we must continue to walk by faith and not by sight. Verse 7, rooted and built up in him, and established in the faith, as ye have been taught, abounding therein with thanksgiving. So it's all about being rooted and built up within his faith and being established, And when you go into this word, well, I actually want to go into a couple of these words, okay? The first word is rooted. It says to cause, to strike root, to strengthen with roots, to render firm, to fix, establish, cause a person or a thing to be thoroughly grounded. So that's rooted, all right? The next word is built up, and it says, well, it doesn't give you too much here, but it says to build upon, build up, okay? And the next word I want to get into real quick is established. And it says to make firm, establish, confirm, make sure. So the basis of us being rooted and built up and established in this faith is what? Us going through these trials, these tribulations and afflictions, man. That's what makes us rooted within this faith. And the Apostle Gabar, he always gets into the word endure, which means what? To make firm, to make hard. Okay, so that's what these definitions are getting into. And our tribulations, that's what's going to make us firm, make us hard, and continue to prove our spirits, whether we be of the faith or not, man. Time after time after time again, whether we're going to be faithful to YAHAWASHI. All right, and I have this article, that I want to get into about the bonsai tree, which I was going through it, and and I just found it edifying, because everything of YAHAWASHI, if you look at it, in a spiritual sense, it has some edification to it. You know, so Lord willing, you know, this be edifying to you brothers out there as well, you know. And you know, I'm gonna jump into a few of the Slakia. I'm gonna jump into a few of the paragraphs here, okay? And it says, people who love bonsai appreciate the beauty of nature and plant trees in small containers. In doing so, they learn from nature and learn a philosophy of life, okay? And we know what going into the word philosopher basically means what? A lover of wisdom, okay? So we're a lover of wisdom, so, you know, Yahweh himself, he is the breath, you know, he is the wisdom, and the breath is all around us. So everything within this earth contains some form of knowledge, wisdom, and understanding that you can grasp from it if you look at it with a spiritual lens and you thoroughly observe it, okay? So that's what we're doing here with the bonsai tree, all right? And it says, the power of bonsai is in its ability to portray the utmost beauty of nature. This is the goal for all those who grow bonsai. There are three important things to consider. First, the roots, okay? When looking at an old tree, the roots form the foundation and give strength, okay? The roots, going back to Colossians 2:7, being rooted and built up in him, you know? So when them roots sink down and then, you know what I'm saying, and being built up, the trunk starts to build up, and the tree starts to blossom and to bloom into something beautiful, man. You know, but it's all about the roots that form the foundation. And the scriptures say, no other foundation can any man lay but YAHAWASHI. Okay, YAHAWASHI is that foundation, and directly, you know, who is that root? You know, that's YAHAWASHI. Okay, and this is Revelations 22:16. I, YAHAWASHI, have sent mine angel to testify unto you these things in the churches. I am the root and the offspring of David and the bright and morning star. So YAHAWASHI, he's that root, okay? And we build upon YAHAWASHI's foundation in which he laid, starting off with the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone, okay? So going back into this article, right? When looking at an old tree, the roots form the foundation and give strength. Okay? We'll do this. Matter of fact, another precept came to mind just based off of thinking that, right? This is the book of Slaki, 1 second. All right, this is the book of Philippians 4:13. I can do all things through YAHAWASHI, which strengthen me, man. Okay? I can do all things through YAHAWASHI, which strengthen me. So through the spirit and power of YAHAWASHI, nothing is impossible, man. All right? So when it said what? The roots form the foundation. Okay? We understand YAHAWASHI, he's the foundation, and gives strength. And Philippians 4:13 says, I can do all things through YAHAWASHI that strengthen me, man. So this is clear how the bonsai tree lines up with the scriptures, because everything within this world, as I said, has some form of knowledge, wisdom, and understanding in which you can draw out of it. You know, we, as us being spiritual men, the Lord left this earth as our playground to learn from, to observe, to study, to grow from, man. Everything, you know. This is impressive and inspiring. Okay, this is impressive and inspiring. Everything in which YAHAWASHI did for us by laying that foundation, by dying for us on the cross, that was impressive, man. Him walking the earth and being the perfect man, conquering the law and biting the law, that's impressive, man. Something that no man will have ever done besides him and have never done after him, man. That's impressive. And it said what? And it's inspiring, okay? And the scripture for that, as far as it being inspiring, all right? Real quick, this is 2 Timothy 3:16. all scripture is given by inspiration of YAHAWASHI, okay? And is profitable for doctrine, for reproof, for correction, and for instruction in righteousness. So it's inspiring to see what Yahawashi did so that we can learn the proper way how to go about being righteous within his truth and striving for that righteousness, striving for that perfection, man. So everything of which Yahawashi did is inspiring unto us, man. He's our prime figure in which we look at as the embodiment of perfection in which we're trying to strive for to be the future inheritors of this world in the thrones of the kingdoms, you know. All right, so it says, this is impressive and inspiring. Strong roots of large tree protect other smaller trees, okay, in a flood or a storm. So what did Yahushua do for us? He died on that cross, became the ultimate sacrifice. Now his blood covers those of the hoped for elect and overall the whole nation of Israel. So him being the foundation and the main tree, he protects all the other small trees, which is all us other brothers, man. You know? And him laying the foundation, now he said, teachers said within the last days, the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, to build upon that foundation, and through the spirit of Yahawah, now they protect us younger brothers, which are those smaller trees, man. You know? By them giving their testimonies, them giving their experiences, them breaking down the scriptures in the correct way, you know, them being examples for us within these last days as men walking upon the earth of who how we should follow them, of a great example, man, you know. So I'm gonna read that one more time. It says, strong roots of large tree protect other smaller trees in a flood or a storm. Okay, and what we're all considered trees, you know what I'm saying, in the Lord's vineyard. The Lord calls you know, Israel, the trees, the branches, and all of that. It's the same comparison, man. It's the same comparison, you know. And through the spirit of Yahawah, you know, if you're a brother that's a leader of a camp or a heads of a camp, now it's your turn to help to protect other smaller trees from in a storm or a flood, you know. And real quick, this is Sirach 33:17. Consider that I labor not for myself only, but for all them that seek learning. Okay, so, you know, we help brothers, you know, on a daily basis through their fight, through their struggles, and so on and so forth. You know, brothers that are you know, younger than us, you know what I'm saying, within the faith. That's what the apostles and elders do to, you know, the camp leaders, the camp heads, and the chain of command. It trickles on down, man. And we're learning responsibility within this truth that, you know, when brothers are going through heavy turmoil or things that may get them down in the spirit, you know, we're trying to uplift brothers in the spirit, man. Because every day you look at your tribulations, they're minor storms, they're minor floods to prepare you for the big flood, because we know that the scriptures say when the enemy shall come in as a flood, man, you know. So we're prepping ourselves and we're helping to prep other brothers through the spirit and power of Yahawah to prepare for that great flood, because it's near and dear upon us any given day, because we at the bittersweet end, man, you know. So going back, it says these firmly rooted trees give us a feeling of stability and security. In the case of a bonsai, this should also be true, you know. And also, too, I want to go into how it said about protecting other smaller trees from the flood or the storm, right? Going into that, this is the book of Matthew, chapter 7, and I start at verse 24. Therefore, whosoever heareth these sayings of mine, and doeth them, I will liken him unto a wise man, which built his house upon a rock. And the rain descended, and the floods came, and the winds blew and beat upon that house, and it fell not, for it was founded upon the rock. And every one that heareth these sayings of mine, and doeth them not, shall be likened unto a foolish man, which built his house upon the sand. And the rains descended, and the floods came, and the winds blew and beat upon that house, and it fell, and great was the fall of it, man. You know? So this is what it's all about, man. Us building our foundation upon that rock, which is YAHAWASHI. So when these tribulations and things come and they're beating upon us heavy, we stand firm, man, because our roots are firmly planted within this truth. You know, it's one thing, you know, to study, to learn, to grow within this truth, but the studying and the learning in this truth is one form of growth. The secondary form of growth within this truth is the experience in which we go through. Okay, so we study and everything to prepare for the experiences of this life and the things that are to come that will help us to further progress within the knowledge, man. That's how we get a firmer understanding. That's how we get more firmly rooted. Every time, look, brothers, you got to look at it. Every time we go through an affliction and we know in the scriptures, we read in the scriptures, we apply the scriptures to our life on an everyday basis, you got to look at it. You're the tree. Now your roots are growing deeper, deeper, deeper into that soil. You're grabbing a firmer grip on this truth, a firmer grip on the knowledge, a firmer grip on the wisdom, a firmer grip on the understanding, and bring closer unto YAHAWASHI through the sufferings in which we share, man. You know, 1 Peter 4:1. Matter of fact, let me grab that real quick. You know, kind of going in the spirit with it. This is 1 Peter 4:1. For as much then as YAHAWASHI hath suffered for us in the flesh, arm yourselves likewise with the same mind. For he that hath suffered in the flesh hath ceased from sin. So us going through our afflictions, we sharing that pain, that affliction in which YAHAWASHI suffered. So therefore, that draws us more closer to YAHAWASHI, man. You know? So, going back, right, unto, yeah, now this is the second point. The trunk and the way it's formed, okay? So you have, that's the secondary part of the tree. You have the roots digging down into the soil. Now you have the bottom, was the base of the tree, which is the trunk. And it says, and the way it's formed. So the way that it starts to culminate, to grow, you know, and it starts to culminate, to grow in a good manner based upon the good nutrients of the soil, the dense soil in which it's reaping, man, you know. So, and that's from, you know, us studying and going through our experiences. In the case of a solitary tree, you know, because what we're solo in this thing, the scriptures say, endure hardness as a good soldier in YAHAWASHI. Okay, so we have the brotherhood, but at the end of the day, you know, it's every man for himself, you know. So it says, in the case of a solitary tree, oh yeah, that's why the scriptures say, let us work out our salvation let us work out our own salvation with fear and trembling, you know. In the case of a solitary tree, it's especially important as to how the trunk emerges from the roots and the rising taper that it develops. So it's important as to how the trunk emerges from the roots, man, you know, and that can go a lot of different ways, you know, but your experiences mold you. They shape your mind. The people that are around you, they mold you. They shape your mind. You know, whether it be for good or bad, you're going to learn some good things coming up along the way, and you're going to learn some bad things. You're going to learn some ways of how to be. You're going to learn some ways of how not to be. And all that is the culmination of the bottom of your tree growing, that trunk and the taper that it carries as it's growing up. You know, is you being that tree when you start to sprout up? Are you going to be leaning to the side, or are you going to be standing straight up? You know, so it's important how we growing, the spiritual nutrients in which we gaining, you know, and how much you paying attention to the scriptures, how much you studying. That's all important to your spiritual growth. You know, after many years, the aged characteristics and bark appear, and you can sense the added character and personality of each tree. Okay, and that's why we examine ourselves within this truth, you know. That's why we examine ourselves. Let me grab that scripture. All right. 2 Corinthians 13:5. Examine yourselves whether ye be in the faith. Prove your own selves. Know ye not your own selves, how that YAHAWASHI is in you, except ye be reprobates. Okay, so I'm going to read this one more time. After many years, the age characteristics and bark appear, and you can sense the added character and personality of each tree. So as you examine yourself within this truth, you'll notice slowly but surely the added character and the growth in which you've gained through your short time, a span that you've been in the truth. And the scriptures also say this 2 Peter 3:18, but grow in grace and in the knowledge of our Lord and Savior YAHAWASHI. To him be glory both now and forever to YAHAWAH. So we grow in grace and in the knowledge and wisdom of YAHAWASHI. Okay, so you look at the times of how you first came into the truth and look at how you are now within this truth. Look at, every brother should be able to see that growth. If you thoroughly examine yourself along the way, you can see the stages of your growth. You can see how you came into the truth. And, the apostles, they get into examples that there's levels you come into the truth as you have the parrot, the monkey, the owl and the dragon, the parrot, the monkey, was it the parrot, the frog, the monkey, the owl, the dragon, something like that. You know what I'm saying? I know I'm getting messed up or whatever, but we have those examples. So when we come into the truth, what we learning, we parroting things, so on and so forth, then we grow, we see how we start to grow within this truth. Like, just to use myself as an example, and Lord willing is edifying that, when I first came in and, reading and out there, speaking on the highways and byways, and, just from watching everything just so exciting in the city that we was in and stuff like that, it's just like, just barking, I'm just yelling and I'm just screaming, not doing much edifying, but just glad to be in the spirit of YAHAWASHI and just going in all by faith, But then as time went on, I started developing and to understand that, it's not about going out there and just yelling at the top of your lungs and screaming. It's about the edification of the elect. So now when I look at myself from when I first came into the truth to now, I see how much more calmer, I'm much more patient, and taking my time with things, trying to edify, Lord, and hoping, that everything that I say is edifying and hoping that the Lord, YAHAWASHI, actually speaks through me and it's not of myself, So, and that's how we all supposed to look at things within this truth, So that's all important. You'll know that added sense of character within each person, or you could look at your child a perfect example is a child, because you see how, everybody is, well, every brother's situation is different, but typically how it normally be, what your children will grow up in your household. So brothers out there that are actually, are fathers, and you have your child living with you, you can see from the time in which he's 1 to the time in which he's 2, the time in which he's 3, you see the steps in development. You see how he starts to talk a little more, you start to see a little personality in him by the time he gets like 2, 3, 4 years old. You know what I'm saying? You see that added character. You see the growth in him, even though he's just a young babe, a young little child, but you can see the growth in him, and you can see him slowly but surely mature, and through you raising him, Third, the branches. These face the sky and are balanced and must have sunlight to flourish. Okay? And that sunlight that comes from YAHAWASHI, man. The scriptures say that a man's wisdom maketh his face to shine, man. So we're getting that light from YAHAWASHI. YAHAWASHI said, I am the truth, the way, and the life, man. So that light from YAHAWASHI is dawning down on us. And when you look at the branches are typically the highest point of the tree, which face the sky, man. And it said, and they are balanced, So as you grow within this truth, you're supposed to have, you learn more to have a balance. You know what I mean? To have the spirit of discernment, when to speak, when not to speak, You learn when to do some things, when something is in the right spirit or the right moment, or when it's not. And you learn how to move accordingly. Not like when you were a babe and you just started to grow from the roots and you're at that trunk part, and you just might be speaking out of turn, you might be doing this, you might be doing that, you might be out of order, so on and so forth. Now you become balanced, you become seasoned a little bit, And it takes a long time within the truth to actually get rooted, in which we're constantly trying to firmly root ourselves through the spirit of YAHAWASHI more and more, day in and day out, So it says, third, the branches. These face the sky and are balanced and must have sunlight to flourish. Because branches and leaves are growing strongly, beautiful flowers can bloom. Okay? Beautiful flowers can bloom. Even though growing vigorously, let's look up this word vigorously. All right. Even though growing vigorously, meaning what? In a way that involves physical strength, effort, and energy, strenuously. Okay. Strenuously, strongly, powerfully, forcefully, energetically, heartily, vehemently. Okay. For all is for all one is worth all out, fiercely, hard. Okay? So what? We supposed to be growing vigorously within this truth, man. You know, vigorously, man. Meaning what? You constantly be upon your watch. You constantly be upon your studies. Constantly abounding in the spirit of YAHAWASHI. And real quick, this is the book of Corinthians, book of 1 Corinthians, chapter 15, verse 58. All right, and it says, "Therefore, my beloved brethren, be ye steadfast, unmovable, always abounding in the work of the Lord, for as much as ye know that your labor is not in vain in the Lord," man. So we have to be what? Steadfast and unmovable, man. And just looking at that word unmovable real quick, it says not to be moved from its place, unmoved, metaphorically, firmly persistent, man. Okay, being firmly persistent. That's a key within this truth, to be firmly persistent, firmly consistent, man. You know, consistency is the key to this thing, man. You know, you stand in spirit as much as possible and doing shows as you know, time permits, you know, within your daily life. You have to make time for the Lord, man. You know, because the way the world is trying to constrict us from the word of YAHAWASHI. So we have to make sure that even though it might seem like your day might be boggled up, you got to make time for the Lord. Show the Lord that you're consistent, and the Lord is going to work with you and allow you to grow vigorously, you know. Says, even though growing vigorously and flowers are blooming, you must not be complacent. What I was just getting into, being consistent, man. Must not be complacent. You know, we're in the year of death, diligence, and destruction. You know, before, you know, a brother might do a video, you know, once every 2 weeks, you know what I'm saying, or one time a week, you know, or once a month, once every 3 weeks. Now we gotta be on go mode for this truth, so to speak, you know. We got to be on fire, you know, pumping these shows out, you know, not trying to compete with nobody, other brother, but be upbeat on our own self, living up to our own abilities, you know, and which we know that YAHAWASHI can allow us to do. It says, even though growing vigorously and flowers are blooming, you must not be complacent and must be very diligent, man, very diligent in the care of your plants. This care is important. So as I brought the scripture in Sirach 33, consider that I labor not only for myself, but for all those that seek learning. So we must be diligent in the care for other plants as well, other brothers that may be a part of our camp, that may be younger than us, because we know that it's a chain of command. You know, the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, whether it's regional leaders, heads of states, you know what I'm saying, camp leaders, the top men under the camp leaders, younger brothers, officers, soldiers, so on and so forth, man. It's always that chain of command, you know. So it's always one brother should be looking after the next man. You know what I'm saying? That's how it works with the brotherhood, man. One man looking after the next man and trying to help the next man to grow. So we got to take care of the plants, man. Every brother is a plant. Every brother is a tree. You got to watch how you watering that plant. You got to watch how you watering that tree so that it grows up in the right spirit, man. You know, this is important, man. You know, it says, everyone, not this one here. Okay, it says, to raise bonsai, it is very important to learn the strong and weak points of each plant. You know, because when you go into, I believe it's like Corinthians, the 10th or the 12th chapter, and it tells you, you know, about the diversities of gifts, so on and so forth. You know what I'm saying? And pretty much about the weakest, you know, talks about like the weakest brother and different things like that. You know what I'm saying? You got to know a brother's weak points. You got to know his strong points and be able to help him build upon those weak avenues in which he's struggling in. You know, so he can be more balanced. You're always going to have your stronger points than others, but you want to have that fine balance, you know. So it says, yeah, to raise bonsai is very important to learn the strong and weak points of each plant. Raising bonsai is like raising children. We're all children. We're all babes And, you know, we help to teach one another, you know what I'm saying, through our experiences and through bringing out the lessons of edification, so on and so forth. Be a teacher and a guide, but with patience and loving care, man. Patience is key. Patience is what? Suffering, man. You know? So it's going to take a great humbleness on your part, you know what I'm saying, to have patience with another brother, man. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, at different times, you know, your patience is going to wear thin at certain points. But hey, everything is always a test, man. Everything is always a test. But then again, you have that balance to where, you know, you get to a point where the brother like, all right, brother, like, come on now. It's, you know, enough has been enough, you know. But you still deal with things accordingly in the spirit as much as possible, okay? So it says, yeah, be a teacher and a guide, but with patience and loving care. Treat your plants as you do your family. I'm sure that each of you will also be able to create and grow beautiful bonsai. You know, bonsai is a living thing in the roots and even in the leaves. Every day that you are attending your bonsai, although the plant cannot speak to you, you'll sense that the plant is trying to tell you something. You'll one day know a plant is asking for water or fertilizer. So that's just looking at all things through the spirit, man. You know, you can tell when a brother is growing. You can tell when a brother is being stagnant. It is show forth, man. Everything show forth. We show things by our patterns and by our actions and different many things, man. You know, and you can even tell within yourself whether you're growing or whether you're being stagnant, man. So it's important to note to keep praying until YAHAWASHI at the moments in which you may feel stagnant. You may feel as though, you know what I'm saying, okay, you may feel as though you're getting rooted, your trunk is starting to sprout up, but now you stuck, you know what I'm saying, right here, and now you're trying to get to the point where you could get the, you know, the branches to come out more so you could actually could blossom and bloom some beautiful flowers, but you're stuck at this point. Now you got to pray to YAHAWASHI for the Most High to pour some more water upon you, man. You know, pour more of the spirit upon you, man. You know, so that you can grow into that perfect bonsai tree, man. You know, because as, you know, every single day within this world, we get broken down to be built back up. You know, and just as Mr. Miyagi showed Daniel's son the bonsai tree, you know, how it was broken, but he wrapped that tape around it and he told him, he's like, you know, everything can heal, man. Everything can heal. You know, so we being broken down to be healed and be brought back up and to sprout into a beautiful tree, man. You know, so, you know, I just wanted to get into this real quick. You know, I think I hit pretty much the scriptures, you know, that I wanted to hit. Matter of fact, let me read this precept one more time. This Colossians. Okay, so Colossians 2:6. As ye have therefore received Yahawashi the Lord, so walk ye in him, rooted and built up in him, and established in the faith as ye have been taught, abounding therein with thanksgiving. So that's what this truth is all about, us being thoroughly grounded, rooted within this truth, so that we won't be moved, man. You know, we don't want to be moved and swayed to and fro, you know what I'm saying, and went on with every doctrine, you know. We don't want to be wooed in the spirit by hearing these scoffers and scorn us, you know what I'm saying, doing what they do and try to make our apostles and our elders and stuff look wicked, you know what I'm saying, and which they're not, you know. We don't want to be wooed to and fro by the ways of the world or getting caught up in a mammon god or getting caught up worshiping a woman, you know what I'm saying. We don't want to get caught up in these things. We want to be firmly planted and rooted in the knowledge, wisdom, and understanding of YAHAWASHI. And the more we suffer this hell, the more we go through our afflictions, the firmer we're going to grab onto those spiritual nutrients and we're going to grow. And Lord willing, we'll stand as that tall tree and stand stiffly for the name of YAHAWASHI in the end. You know, throughout all the said perils and the hell and the floods and the rain that Esau is about to bring upon us within these last days, man, you know. So with that, you know, I hope this segment was edifying. I'd like to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahawah, Bashim Yahawashi, double honors to the apostles and the elders, great millstone, and shalawam to look out there doing this work of faith and labor of love, truth, sincerity. Shalawam.